what a piece of crap this movie is. I am not excited to talk about this movie whatsoever. Let's get on to the review. Monster Hunter is a new 2020 kaiju film based on the top-rated video game franchise developed and published by Capcom. The film was written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, so that should automatically tell you how bad this movie will be. This is just one big mess of a film that ultimately feels like it should have been a television series or even a miniseries because I don't know, maybe a top-rated video game franchise got turned into a TV show filled with creatures, violence, and an open-world feel seemed to be a big success, but I don't know, I'm not a studio executive. Let's get on to the boatload of negatives, starting with the writing. Holy crap, this writing is truly abysmal. All the dialogue feels so ham-fisted that it feels so bare and forced into the film to have easy dubbing/subbing when they put this film into other countries, which is extremely lazy and stupid. This movie would have been much better if there was simply no talking, so I wouldn't have to listen to this cringe-worthy dialogue. Writing of the story is so poorly planned out as it feels like they were trying to be ambiguous and already trying to set up a franchise of 6 or so movies, which shows because I feel like everything that happened in the film could have been the first 45 minutes of another film because nothing really happens. It feels like Act 1 of a more giant, more finished movie. This film loves to drag out and overcomplicate individual sections of the film to pad the runtime with pure nonsense. Once we finally get toward the third act, it goes by so quickly and feels wholly rushed. I didn't really understand what was happening because it turned a 360-degree turn and became something different. It was the best part of the film, but I feel like we should have already gotten to this point of the story. Characters are also very poorly written, in which you genuinely do not care about the characters, which made me less interested in the film as a whole. They don't have any arcs or even legitimate backstories. Ultimately, the film focused on capitalizing on popular video game franchises' success with spectacle over story, and it shows. Since this writing drags everything out, I was so bored and sick of this movie. I even saw this in the theater, so I can't even imagine how I would feel about this movie if I saw it at home. Also, there is a whole scene that is cut from the original film because when it originally played for the Chinese audience, there's a racially insensitive joke that is thrown into the film that I don't know how it slipped by the Chinese censorship, and viewers hated this joke, so the film was pulled from theaters and given a cut, which I don't know if it was played back in theaters. Acting is pretty terrible, with Anderson working again with his wife Milla Jovovich, who gives a paycheck performance because she looks like she's phoning it in the whole time. She's supposed to be the film's main star and doesn't give any fun and exciting performances. Everyone else is entirely forgettable, in which I push all their accounts strictly out of my brain for my own sanity. The editing is the absolute worst of the year. It felt like my head was spinning throughout this movie with its horrendous choppy editing that was so distracting that any small thing that I would have liked more was ruined because I couldn't tell what was happening in so many parts of the film. Action scenes look horrible without knowing almost anything that was happening. This could also be due to Anderson's terrible direction of just not knowing how to make creative and artistic shots, because even scenes when they are talking were all over the place. Music wasn't all that great either, and I don't know if it was taken from the video game, but either way, I don't think it worked all that well in this movie and didn't bring any scenes to life with it. The film does have a few positives, surprisingly, with the CGI looking incredible, with seeming like all the budget of this film went strictly into the visual effects because it does look quite right. Monsters are the best part, so I guess if you were a big fan of this series or you want to literally turn your brain off, I suppose you could have a great time because that's what I did when the action scenes were on, so it didn't make for a horrendous experience. Production design and the costume and makeup look really great looking and feeling like Mad Max Fury Road, but obviously not as good. It made the film feel more authentic in this weird monster world they live in, which I thought was neat. Third act climax scene was surprisingly somewhat entertaining, being able to sit up in my seat a little bit because something was finally happening on screen for me to be interested in, even though I didn't care about the characters. Overall, This is such a big waste of time that I really hope they don't make a sequel because it merely doesn't need it. It is a bloated mess of significant visual effects with horrendous writing, a dumb story, poor directing, and a movie so forgettable I would probably never watch it again. I'm giving this film a 3 out of 10. So, let me know down below, have you seen Monster Hunter? And if you have, what did you think of it? And do you think they should make a sequel or not? Don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new and exciting video. As always, I will see you all in the next video.